We keep having to talk about this. Let's get some good lighting on this bitch. Stop talking about Diney from Fully Charged as if he is comparable to Proto Man and Base. All three of those characters fill completely different roles in the Mega Man narrative. First of all, Diney exists in a completely separate canon. Yes, I'm gonna call him Diney and not Namagem this whole time. Namagem is a stupid fucking name, and I'm so glad the comics were just like, yeah, no. Not only is he not going by that anymore, it's his own choice. We're gonna transgender allegory him. Whatever. Fuck yeah. Thank you, Boom Studios. Boom Studios is my wife. You're my favorite people ever. But I'm gonna go on a limb and say that even considering Proto Man one of Mega Man's rivals is completely idiotic, they're not rivals. They're not. They never really were. He was what? In a few mini-boss fights in 3? And then he wasn't a boss ever again. Oh, but Mega Man 5. That was Darkman. That was Darkman 4. Of course, Base is, in fact, Mega Man's rival. He was made to be Mega Man's rival. But neither of the things that Proto Man and Base are good for would fit the story they told with Diney. And I'm convinced that you guys didn't even watch the show, because the whole thing about Diney is that he is Aki's twin brother. Twin! Made at the same time. Made at the exact same time. They were made together, and we watched that happen in a very short flashback. We see that they were made together. Proto Man's whole thing relies on the fact that he was first. He was the prototype. And he was messed up. He was not finished. He was a prototype. And that's where his identity issues started. That's where his free will started. That's where his disability started. His story relies on him being the prototype. Because he's Proto Man. Or blues. Blues being a pun on the fact that blues is the genre that was most heavily inspired rock and roll. You can say that blues was the prototype for rock and roll. Funny pun. Base, on the other hand, story requires him to be made after Mega Man. Because he was made specifically to be equal and opposite to Mega Man. His whole thing relies on him being evil Mega Man. And that would not work if they were made by the same creator at the same time. Diney's whole thing, on the other hand, is about a kidnapped child who was forced to fight. He holds a grudge against Mega Man, against Aki, because he believes there's been a misjustice against there's a misjustice against him, which there is, but he's taking it out on an unrelated party. He views Mega Man as the him he could have been, and regards him with a lot of jealousy, with a lot of envy and a lot of want. He wants the life that Mega Man had, but he doesn't get that, so instead he retaliates, he lashes out. Alongside that, he's of course under the orders of Lord Obsidian for most of the show, the man he was kidnapped by. Of course, a lot of this is more in-depth in the comics, but this was in the show as well. It was in the scenes that you guys are using as pictures for him. And I know that you guys are just getting those pictures off the fucking wiki. But for the love of God, if you're going to shit-talk a show, understand what the characters are about. Please. Because no, the story told with Diney would not have worked if they did it with Proto Man or Base without irreversibly changing their stories and pissing you guys off even more. Think about it this way. If they did Proto Man or Base with that story, they would have ruined them. So at least they made a completely original character that was bad instead of actually ruining Proto Man or Base. Now, of course, I don't think that Diney is a bad character. I think he is probably the best character in all of Fully Charged because he is fucking great. And because he has a really interesting story that I haven't seen in any other Mega Man media. Maybe Quint? Quint has sort of the vibes, but not really. No, Diney's the one that actually explores that, because God forbid we get any Quint content. Diney Light is a much better character than you guys think. And also, everyone pointing out, oh, his name is Mega Man backwards. Yeah, because Lord Obsidian was being a bitch. Have you ever considered the fact that Lord Obsidian was just an asshole? Like, literally, that is the lore behind why he was called Namagem. It was literally just a spit in the face. There's a reason that he went off and he picked his own name, like, first thing, I can't go by Namagem anymore. I'm Diney now. And to Cutman, who said that Diney was a bad name too. Fuck